Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Today let's learn how to manually set the information for your songs in the music library. MacMost is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 500 supporters. Go to MacMost.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content. So maybe you've brought your own music into the music app, or you've had some music in there where the information isn't set correctly. The songs aren't grouped into albums right, or the artist name is incorrect, or maybe the artwork is missing. You have a lot of control to be able to set exactly how the songs are represented in the music app, or previous to Catalina in iTunes. So I've got a sample music library here in the music app. I'm not using Apple Music in this case. And I have a bunch of albums in here that have songs in them. Now let's go and bring in some fresh new music here. And these are music files that don't have any information attached to them. So kind of a worst case scenario. There's no information set for these at all except the file names in this case. So if I select all of these and I drag and drop them into the app, it will import them in. We're in the albums view here and you can see it created an album for each individual song. If we go into that album we can see it just has that one song in it. If we look under artists we don't even see any kind of artist listed on the left that could match all of those. But since we have all artists selected I could actually go to the bottom and I could see each individual song as its own artist and its own album. Under songs it makes a little bit more sense. We can go to the bottom here and we can see all the songs here and we can see the artist and album names are blank. So as I said, this is like the worst case scenario. It's much easier if you do start off with artist or album set. So how do you go about setting this all up? Well, the first thing you want to do is select a song here. Then you want to go to Song and Info. Command I is the keyboard shortcut. And then here you can see for this song I've got the song name and then nothing else set. So I could set an artist here. So let's just say the artist is MacMost for this. And then I also could set an album name here. So I can call this the MacMost album and hit OK. And now that one song kind of disappears from the bottom of the list here because now alphabetically it's right here. And you can see the artist and album are set. If I go to albums I can see the MacMost album is here. Under artist MacMost now appears as an artist, but if I select that I only see that one song. So now if I wanted to have another song on this album I can go to Songs again and let's choose the second one. Then I'll do Command I and I'll set it to the same thing. So you can see there's a little bit of an autocomplete there. It's going to make it easier. And I've set the artist and album to the same thing. Now you can see under Songs they're grouped together. Under Albums if I go to the MacMost album those two songs are both in there. And under Artists if I go to MacMost as an artist you can see the one album and the two songs there. So great. So by simply setting the artist name to the same exact thing and the album name to the same exact thing I get those songs grouped together as an album. Now I don't want to have to do that for each song individually. Unfortunately I don't have to. I can select all of these. So I can select the first one then shift click to select the last one. Selects the entire range. I can do Command I. It'll give me this warning because I'm editing information for multiple songs. Imagine if you selected everything by accident and then went and edited it thinking you were only changing one song. It could be a disaster for your entire library. So that's why it's doing this warning. I'm going to say don't ask me again about that and edit the items. And you can see here it looks a little bit different when you're editing things as a group. But anything you set can actually change what's there. Matter of fact if I go into Artist and I type MacMost, see this green check mark here? That's saying I'm going to replace the artist for all of the songs selected. And if I change the album it's going to be a green check mark there too saying alright I'm changing that. So the two green check marks indicate what it is that I'm changing. Now when I hit OK it's going to change it for all of those. Now you can see under Songs all of the songs are now listed together. Under Albums all that stuff at the end is gone because everything is under one album now. And under Artists I can go to that artist and I can see that album there. But what if it's not that simple? What if, for instance, the artist name isn't the same for every song? So let's take a song here in this album and I'm going to do Command I and I'm going to say yeah the artist here is actually going to be MacMost featuring another name. You see this a lot on songs today where the artist has featuring or feat or whatever. And I'm going to say OK for that and I'm also going to select another song and say same thing here that one's like that. So now what do I get? Well here in the songs list you can see I'm sorting by artist. So it's putting those two songs by themselves after this. But if I go to albums and I go to the top level here, you can see I now have two albums. Both have the same name but different artists, which makes sense because you don't want the music app to group everything together by album name, because two artists with the same album name, it's going to think it's the same album. And if you look under artists now, you can see I've got two artists here. But that's not what I want because this is a single album. So how do I group them together? Well, let's go back into songs and I'll select all of these again and do Command I. So there's two things I can do to put these all together. If these truly are different artists, say it's a compilation album, has various artists associated with it, I could go down here to compilation and check that box. And what that will do is it'll say, okay, the album name is now the most important thing. Even though the artists are different, I'm going to group them together. So when I go and look at albums here, you're going to see that there's a new group at the bottom called compilations, and there's that album with all of those songs in it. If you look under artists, then you won't actually see the artist there anywhere. Why? Because it's under compilations. Now of course if that artist does have another album in your collection, you'll see that album there. But this particular album is going to be under compilations. Now this may not be what we want. So let's go back here and select all of these. Command I, turn off compilations. But instead we're going to set an album artist. Because in this case really the main artist is this one name and we can set it here. And if we set it and have an album artist for a song, that's going to override the artist when sorting by albums. Now I go to albums and now it's not under compilations anymore. It is now an album listed under albums. I go in there and you have all of the songs in there and you have the correct artist name for each one. If you look under artists, you'll see just that one artist that was the album artist listed, and there's the album there. So there's two different ways to group together songs by different artists in a single album. Now there are a few other things you can use here. You also may want to set artwork. Now if I wanted to set artwork for this album, one way I could do it is select one song, any song, Command I, and then go to the Artwork tab and then Add Artwork. Click that button or drag and drop into it. Although I think the proper way to do it is select all of the songs in that album. Do Command I, go to Artwork and then do it there. So let's drag in some artwork here and I'll hit OK. And now if I go to looking at albums, I'll see the artwork there. If I look at artists, I'll see the artwork there. Now there is one other group that you want to pay attention to. You can do this for an individual song or for the entire album like I have all the songs selected. Go to sorting. So what sorting does is it will assign a secondary name to have priority in sorting. So for instance, if this was called the MacMost album, you could see the default is get rid of the. So it's just going to sort it as M, MacMost album. However, maybe I want to sort it with the as the first word. I can do the same thing for artists as well. So I can sort it for that. If I select an individual song and go to sorting, I can also sort the name of the song. So I can remove the or add the or change the name a little bit. It's especially useful if there are a lot of symbols or things in the song, album, or artist name. Now you may also want to set some other things for the songs in this album. For instance, you might want to set a genre. You might want to enter the year. Also you may want to set track. So right now they're all sorted in alphabetical order when you look at the album. So I go into here, it's just alphabetical order. But I could do it by track. The easiest way to do that is select all of the songs first. Do Command I. And then set the of first. So you can say of 10. So set that for all of them. Then go to the first one and set that to what you want. So maybe this is track 1. But maybe this one is track 2. And you're going to see now it sorts it properly. And you can keep doing that with each one to get the order correct. Just a matter of going through them one by one. And you can see it puts numbers next to the track here when it actually has a track number. So I can see the ones I have yet to go without the numbers. So there's a lot you could do here to clean up a messy music library. You can go in and change the artists, the albums, the track numbers to get everything right. This is especially useful if you've created your own library by bringing music in from various sources. But it even works if the music came from Apple Music. It still allows you to go in and change this information just for you, and you can move songs around, create compilation albums, and do all sorts of things. It even syncs with your other devices, so a change that you make on your Mac will then show up on, say, your iPhone or iPad. I publish new tutorials every weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. Then hit the little bell icon to get notifications for each new tutorial.